Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to the American Truck Simulator series here that I'm running. I'm just basically staying on SCS maps, working pretty much within base game, just enjoying the progress as we're moving along here. So I am going to go ahead at this point and take this prefab from Ontario, which is one of the places we were at, but we're going to keep kind of extending our network, our little web out a little bit. But we've got an articulated trailer, but an urgent delivery, and also some heavy cargo. So this should help. Alright, just take a quick look. Wow. So we've got a triple here. So definitely quite a load, that is for sure. So I think I can exit out. It would seem like I could exit out in that direction. So, alright, we've got ourselves a Mack truck here. It's late in the afternoon. So I am going to make sure that I can have everything turned on as far as my lights. Hopefully, we'll be able to get out of here. A nice quiet truck, I'll tell you that. But yeah, that looks like a gate right there. I'd say it's either a state fair park or like a racetrack across the way. Oh no, that's just a roof. I thought it was seating.
Turn left.
Alright. So, looks like we're clear. Just take one last look. Never hurts to be extra cautious, especially when we're as long as we are here. So, it's going to be another job that is not going to require parking, other than just pulling in appropriately and so forth. So that's not a bad thing. It just is what it is. So we're here in Ontario. I think it's Oregon. But looks like we're moving through a residential space. A little bit of a RV there. Oh, another one. All the folks here like to vacation that way, it looks like. Hopefully we don't get anybody coming left, because we might not have good clearance there. But it's not too bad. I assume we're going to turn right here.
Get ready to turn right.
We are. Alright, we're going to have a recruitment station we've discovered. There we go. So that will help once we get to the point where we can start building out our own company, and we've got extra equipment and we need to hire drivers for it. So one of the things I guess I do need to think about while we're on that topic is what would be, what are people interested in seeing? I've never really gone ahead and bought trailers along
And then turn left.
with the tractors. Obviously if I do that, I have to more specifically find loads that work for me. If I was doing that, I would be doing something preferably that I can haul hazmat in, because in my VTC, that is what my specialty is. So if I was really going to lock myself down, I would certainly want to be doing that. So whether it would be a tanker, I mean, again, I could get multiple trailers, because that would be an aspect I've never explored much on my own, and that was partly simply because I liked being able to just go get a job in the area I was in without having my own, I just could pick up a trailer. Like, the trailer was supplied, it just felt like it gave me more ability, and maybe we grow into that over time. Maybe initially I do just get a tractor, and then after I've made a good amount and maybe have a few people doing things,
Right. And then turn right.
I go ahead and get some trailers or something. So that is a possibility I could do,
Turn right.
because SCS certainly has added things into the game with that, with some trailer manufacturers and so forth, that I've just frankly not used because I've never been buying my own trailers. But you know, I'd have to see how that freight market worked, because obviously you'll have to show up with the trailer to pick up the load. But I think you probably get paid a little bit more for those than you do when you're using their trailer on the back end. So, alright, so I'm thinking we're just going to head out this way. And, you know, it's just going to be on this 2-lane road all the way over to our delivery. I don't think there's any interstate that's really going to be involved here. Could be wrong. I mean, we'll find out soon enough, obviously, as we go through this. But we're just starting out. You can see we're just over 20 miles out, so that took a little bit of time. Alright, so we're entering Vale. I'm going to slow myself down some. I'm going to slow myself down some more, quite a bit more. Hopefully we won't get flagged before we can slow all the way down.
Keep right.
Alright, I probably through town when it's this slow should probably be closer to the actual speed limit. So yeah, we're not turning around. So now we'll let him speed up, get going. We got a truck going up the hill over there. So yeah, the nice thing as a contractor is obviously, you know, we don't have a lot of expenses that we're dealing with. We're just getting paid for work. The bad thing is obviously we are kind of at the whim of what we have available, but we're able to take things kind of everywhere because of the way the game works, that I can kind of teleport very quickly. But that also means, because we're not sleeping, you know, we're going to have segments of episodes that we're going to be driving at night, and we're not going to get to enjoy the open road like we are now and really see the scenery. So, not sure that I see a river over here off to the right at all. But typically with this kind of stuff, maybe it's over there against the canyon wall. Oh, there it is. So we do have a river. So I was going to say, typically with this kind of stuff, well, there we go. Let's see. We'll turn on our wipers. First time I've had to do that in this series, I think. I'm glad I remembered the control I have. It doesn't rain too often, which is not a bad thing either. Ooh, that just seems a little tight there. I was worried about, and luckily I'm not going 60 yet. I'm certainly not going to speed up before that next turn, because wow, that thing is down to 35. So we're in Juntra? Not sure if that's what it said. Alright. Oh, we got a police officer sitting there. I think it's just a local diner. Alright, and alright, we have left town, so we can speed up again. Truck ahead of us is definitely pulling away pretty fast. But yeah, getting a little bit dark. But yeah, I guess, you know, didn't have the whole conversation. But yeah, certainly if you'd like, drop in the comments what you're thinking. You know, should I own a tractor? Should I specialize in something besides trying to do hazmat, but also, you know, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe I become more of a specialty carrier and I try to just take hazmat loads. I mean, that could certainly be a challenge. I'm just worried, especially if I own equipment and so forth, that I might not find loads I can take. But, you know, do I own trailers? Do I own tractors? do I expand as fast as I possibly can? So as soon as I have enough money, so you know, I probably want $200,000, $250,000 to get my first truck so that I can really get something with typically what I do. I guess I'll explain what I typically do, and then that will maybe help you say, yeah, go with that, or no, do something different. I usually try to get an 18 speed with retarder, pretty high-end engine. It's always that trade-off between mileage and pulling power, but you know, kind of in the 500-600 horsepower range, so that I can do heavy hauls and haul equipment in the mountains, you know, do the logging equipment and things like that on those roads. But then once again, the logging roads are a bit of craziness and precariousness, and I tend to get stuck on things. So I could veer away from that, because especially out west here, where obviously we have a lot of states, how is this possible? I mean, we've been moving along, but I don't know how close I am. I mean, it should be close, I would think, but oh, yeah, right. Well, we can see the flags, so that's good. Since we're hearing the music, we better be close. Well, we're gonna have to stop and get checked out here, but this shouldn't take too terribly long. But anyway, looking for comments. Hopefully we'll get some feedback, and yeah, if nothing else, we'll talk through it, see what makes sense and so forth. So wow, 102,000. The last load I had, I think, was 97,000. So, but when you have multiple trailers, and that's one of the things, like, even if I'm not doing quote-unquote heavy haul, just having a truck that can do something like this, where I could pick things up. But once again, unless I own this trailer setup, I wouldn't really be doing it that way. Alright, I'm thinking we're just going around. We probably have to get into Burns there and turn left to get back to, I think, where we were and where I saw that flag. So I'm assuming once we make this turn and we're headed more in this direction, there we go, we can see it. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. Oh, I hate when those do that, because it, like, I feel like they're coming right at me, because they kind of are at that point, but they just don't do a gentle merge. They do that really aggressive lane change that looks like, oh, I'm just going to come over the center line and run right into you. It gets nerve-wracking. So yeah, I'm at the point here where I think we're going to be at certainly over 15 minutes. I don't think I'd find anything that's going to be that short. So I may just call this a short episode and leave it that way. But the challenge is, if I'm really not adding long distance, that I'm just willing to take shorter runs, I might have a lot of shorter things here. Just depends. Because my maximum's basically going to be 250, I think, without any kind of a distance upgrade. Alright, so there we are.
You have arrived at your destination.
So I will take a look, and if I can find a nice short job, I'll go ahead with that. But I almost need a local job, and I don't know that I'm going to find those. There we go. So let's see. I don't think this is going to get us to level 5. But, you know, the good thing is we're getting some additional cash with the proficiency bonus and so forth. Alright, so I'm going to grab a really small one. It's just a local run, just right in Vernal. Just taking it a little bit across town. It's 35 miles. So let's just take that, and that'll give us a nice little job here. that we can go ahead. We've got the benefit here, unless this is the wrong way. We can go ahead, we can take a peek here at this viewpoint. So we'll go ahead and do that. That'll give us a little bit of extra special stuff in the episode here. You know, plus we'll get credit for seeing that as well. Alright, so this is the oil fields of Utah. So there you go. So, but this isn't officially a hazmat job, even though it's at a oil and gas location. But we're not really able to get any credit as a hazmat job for this. So, but the nice thing is just doing something simple like this, plus, you know, adding this wonderful view that we get. So those pumps are always, you know, that's what they said, when those are moving, we're making money. So a couple of those, it's a slightly different color. Yeah, there's the yellow one I assume that we just saw. Our truck is right there. I think that's us. So, but obviously that, you know, pumps things out of the ground and just moves it along. So there's a tanker. Like, again, potentially we could own those. I think some of the cistern changes they made would give us some options and things that we could take. Just, I think it adds the complexity of knowing, like, hey, you can take these loads with what you've got. Because I'm assuming the game does not restrict what they're offering. It's just going to assume, like, well, you'll figure out what trailer you need. So yeah. So obviously we spent a little bit of time because of that. Although it shouldn't. I don't know that the time runs while we're watching, but we're not going very far here. So 32 miles is not going to be much. But this one we're going to get to actually park, I would think. So nothing else, we're going to have a little bit of added length for me fumbling around trying to get things done. But I did not know that Utah had a lot of oil, so that's also a nice thing to kind of get to experience and learn about. Alright, so we can go just 35 through here, so we'll be careful. But definitely more hilly and so forth. I think Texas oil fields, although I think if you get into West Texas you get a little bit of hills. I think pretty much all of Texas has got oil fields all over it. I was reading something about Texas though recently. They're trying, at least some people in the state are trying to really let them start working on clean energy and kind of move away from the fossil fuels. Alright, so we have Vernal over here. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of experience. Obviously, we're only getting paid $1,200 for this, but it's a nice little job. And so that's one of those things, like I could kind of operate just as a little local regional carrier. I could be a long haul. You know, the long haul, the challenge with episodes is those turn into hours-long episodes. They're harder for people to really enjoy. You know, I did that in my Coast to Coast series. I definitely have some really long episodes in there, so if people want to view them, they're available. But since we've obviously been struggling with maps and so forth, that one likely has ended. But it's certainly not something I'm actively doing right now, but even on that one I wasn't really doing anything as a long haul. I kind of was trying to keep the episodes between 30 and 60 minutes. Now, one of the other things you could do certainly is just do that and then have multiple episodes that do one really long haul, but I'm not sure how interesting that would be to folks either. So, again, the challenge I've got with the size I'm at is a channel right now is just not a lot of feedback coming in. I usually get one or two folks who get interested once in a while and will comment, but I'm not at the point where I'm a community that gives me a lot of feedback on, hey, let's do this, let's try this, because I'm always willing to explore things, that's for sure. Moving van there. But yeah, this is going to get us, we'll be just shy of 50,000 here, but you can see where we're headed. Cobble Rock Park. I feel like I've been here. I probably was. Obviously the road ahead of me is discovered already, so I'm sure, I think I talked about this as I turned left onto this. But who knows? Alright. Whoops. That's just the turn lane. Looks like a Dewey Pile truck over there. So that's one of the mods I've got, is something that again gives me some real companies, real trucks, things like that. So to me that's more interesting than just playing with a bunch of made up names, because it just makes the world feel a little bit more real. You know, we're obviously traveling through real locations. It's always good to be traveling with real cargoes and for real companies and so forth. Just having the carriers, consignees, and shippers all more realistic. Oh, nice little dinosaur there. And then we'll be pulling into the cat location here. I'm not quite sure what it is, but we'll find out in a moment once we get past the auto zone here. Alright. Oh, I see. To get in, we've got to like go down and around, it looks like. So it's just a little more challenging to get to. So that's definitely interesting. But it's just, I guess, a bigger yard, because this still is a cat sign down here. Or is it just directing me in this direction, maybe? Because, yeah, it's just the public storage. There's tons of those in the US, so that's at least a accurate reflection of the world. Alright, so... Alright, so now I've got to figure this out. So I'm in this series. One of the challenges I've given myself is I am going to try to stay in cab and just use what I've got. I mean, I've got a little bit of advantage in the mirrors that I have. Let's see, am I going in? No, I want to go the other way. But it's just so hard to tell. Like, I mean, I'm sure just like anything, I'll get better at it the more I do it. I can look out the window, obviously, but yeah, see, this is like a blind side cut, so I can't look out the passenger window. So I'm just letting this creep back, but yeah, this probably will mean I'll be, whoops. Yeah, I know, they want stuff. I want to be done too, but just hoping I'm not going to hit that forklift that was over there. So let's see, straighten this out. Alright, well, I cleared the forklift. I probably should pull this out and straighten it a bit, because I am clearly not really where I need to be. So if I do that, let's see. I think if I go this way, that will swing me a little closer to the building. Well, actually, I don't know that I need to swing much more, so... But I think I'm in the right location here. There we go. Alright. There we go. So I have made it and honored my desire to stay in the cab. And more importantly, kind of created a little bit more content to make this a little bit more reasonably sized episode instead of being super short. But we're getting up there, 3,400. A decent run next time should get me up to level 5. So thanks for tagging along. Hopefully it's been a fun episode as always, and I'll see you next time.